Hello, welcome to the first video of politics and video games. We're going to start off by talking a little bit about the channel and what we're going to do here. So for the first game we are playing Darksiders 2, a game that I never played before. And what our channel is going to do is we're going to try to play some games. While we're playing games, we're going to talk about political topics. And this is pre-recorded footage of me playing the game.
In the universe. Such is the decree of the Charred Council, an ancient body.
So depending on
to preserve the very fabric of existence.
Depending on what happens here, we may change the format and we may just talk about political topics and then do video games separately from that, or we may just keep it mixed up and if we could find a game that corresponds with a certain political topic, then we may play that game during that topic, and I do have some plans for that coming up here. So the first topic of our first video is going to be liberals versus conservatives, and the reason I think we should talk about that is because our channel here is definitely going to have a political alignment, and I think everybody's views are kind of leaned one way or the other, or they have certain viewpoints, and I want to be very clear about what how our beliefs are based starting off here, and why we may be leaning a certain direction here.
And feared their conquest would imperil the balance. And so a truce was made. The four would serve the council in exchange for unimaginable power. Thus were the dreaded horsemen formed, and the rider's first task.
So a little bit what I know about here so far in this gameplay, or in Darksiders 2, I never played the first one, is that they're supposed to be Nephilim. But I know Nephilim in the Bible are the union between angels and humans, not angels and demons. So kind of a bit of a change there. Wonder how it would have worked out. Angels having sex with humans.
Above all else, he has many names: Kinslayer, Executioner, Death.
I think the first game was about war. I looked up a little bit of info on it. It looked pretty cool, looked pretty nice. You may go back and play that one. But right now we're Death.
Death swore that he would resurrect humanity. But he knew not how this might be done. And so Death rode forth into the icy veil to find the keeper of secrets.
Now the cinematic is over, I'll start talking about our topic. I thought it was pretty cool that we got a horse here. It was fun to try to test out the mechanics and jump off of them and jump back on and see if that would affect our meter. Okay, so while I'm just running around here, I'm going to pull up an article I have here opened up, and it's a conservative versus liberal article. And in high school I thought I was more conservative. I didn't know what conservative actually meant. I thought maybe I was a mix between Republican and Democratic, just because I didn't follow one side just because, oh, I'm a Republican, I must follow Republican beliefs, or I'm a Democrat, I must follow all the Democratic beliefs. So I thought, oh, I don't base my views on that, so it must be a mix. But not really. I found out, not really. No, I'm not. Definitely liberal. And I'll get into why here. But before that, I want to say that my viewpoints on a lot of issues have changed over time, and I think everybody's viewpoint should, considering that you get more information, you learn and grow as a person, and you shouldn't just stick to one thing just because that's what you always believed. You should always challenge yourself and challenge your beliefs, as long as it makes sense. Don't follow things that don't make sense. So we're going to get into why I'm a liberal, and we'll start with this article. The first one is from lps.org on are you conservative or a liberal? And we'll start with the general text box here.
This is no place for a horse.
So I was playing around with first person and whatnot right here. So liberals generally believe in governmental action to achieve equal opportunity and equality for all. And that it is the duty of the government to reduce community issues and to protect civil liberties and individual and human rights. Liberals also believe the role of the government should be to guarantee that no one is in need. Liberal policies generally emphasize the need for the government to solve people's problems. Liberals are often referred to as being on the left when put into a political spectrum. Democrats are viewed as more liberal. Conservatives generally believe in personal responsibility, limited government, free markets, individual liberty, traditional American values, and a strong national defense. Conservatives also believe the role of government should be to provide people the freedom necessary to pursue their own goals. Conservative policy generally emphasize empowerment of the individual to solve problems. Conservatives are often referred to as being on the right when put into the political spectrum. So we'll start with the death penalty. That's a simple one. Liberals believe we should abolish death penalty. The death penalty is the humane and is cruel and unusual punishment. It does not prevent crime. Imprisonment is the appropriate punishment. Every execution risks killing an innocent person. Conservative viewpoint is that the death penalty is a punishment that fits the crime. It is neither cruel nor unusual. Executing a murderer is appropriate punishment for taking innocent life. So I kind of feel mixed here. Because there are definitely many cases of people being put on death row and they are innocent or viewed as innocent. And I do believe that, I know for a fact, that in the past we've killed a lot of innocent people. Easy example off the top of my head is the witch trials, where we killed a bunch of people because we thought they were witches, which is really stupid. But my question is, what is the goal of the death penalty? Is it just to rid that person of the earth? Is it to punish them? Because is death a good punishment? After you die, you don't feel anything. You don't go through anything. So is that really a punishment? Or is death the death penalty to get rid of that person, to help the grieving people that are alive? I'm not really sure, but I do see the need for death punishment in some issues where, somebody's just a nasty person and they really just don't need to be here anymore on the earth. And so I say the death penalty to get rid of people. but not just for everybody, because it's not a good punishment. Alright, we'll move on to the next one. It's kind of funny we started with death because we were playing as Death of the Nephilim. Next one is the economy. So liberal people favor a market system which government regulates the economy. We need government to protect us against big business. Unlike the private sector, the government is motivated by public interest. We need government regulation to level the playing field. Conservative view, the free market system, competitive capitalism, and private enterprise afford the widest opportunity and the highest standard of living for all. Free markets produce more economic growth, more jobs, and higher standards of living than the slow systems burdened by excessive government regulation. This is completely false on the conservative side. I think we should, I think some liberal views should really need to go on the conservative side, because I don't know how many conservatives, we have a Republican president, Donald Trump. I don't know how many of the times I hear about them wanting more regulations or more tax breaks, or, oh, it's not fair that foreign countries, can get things cheaper than us. They want constant regulations to help their businesses. So it's not really a free market system. It's a business system that the government helps you out and to be more profitable, which I do not care for. I know that I know that in the market crash that we bailed out a bunch of companies, and the crazy thing about that is that there are a lot of Fortune 500 companies and top companies that do not pay taxes. I know that GE has not paid taxes for many years, and yet we give them more tax breaks and help them and bail them out, and the only thing they provide is jobs. And you can, I don't know the economic benefit of each job, but I think they should be paying taxes. The next topic here is the environment. Liberals sometimes believe that conservatives didn't care as much as protecting the environment. Liberals will argue that industrial growth can harm the environment. They argue global warming is caused by increased production of carbon dioxide. The U.S. is a major contributor to global warming because it produces 20% of the world's carbon dioxide. The U.S. should enact laws to significantly reduce the amount, and if it reduces some economic growth, then so be it. Conservatives want clean water, clean air, and clean climate just like everyone else. However, extreme environmental protection policies destroy jobs and damage the economy. Changes in global temperatures are natural over long periods of time. So far, science has not shown that humans can affect permanent change in Earth's temperature. Notice that it said permanent change on the Earth's temperature, but not really that because the science has proved that we are changing the Earth's temperature. That's just a fact. A lot of these issues, conservatives try to change facts and argue against facts, and I don't understand that. But I think the changes in the global temperature, the environment's very important, and it's not the policies on the companies have never been unfair. There's a lot of dumping, and there's a lot of pollution, and a lot of crazy practices. I remember one of my professors in college, Professor Brake, was telling me about how it was one company, they used to take their molten lead and just pour it out into the ground because that was the only way to get rid of it, and some people got mad about it, but it's something they could really do. I don't know if it was molten lead, it was something molten waste material. I don't want to misrepresent. And they just poured it out into the ground because nothing they could do. There's a lot of, when there's no regulation, a lot of miscare of the environment. And because you have these big corporations and you have multiple people in control, and there's not really one person you could pinpoint on, a lot of things just happen. And you may think it's crazy, but you can look to the past, and here in Ohio, we set the river on fire here. Regulation is good. We need regulation to protect the environment. And if it means you need to find a different way to throw away your waste, then I agree, so be it. It's worth protecting our space here. And we can't just mine it for all its resources and kill it. I'm not trying to run off on any tangents here. I'm just trying to give a basic separation between liberals and conservatives here in this video, and why I lean to the liberal side. And after we go through these topics, I'll expound upon a little bit more on that. Gun control, that's a hot topic now. The liberals believe that the Second Amendment gives no individual the right to own a gun, but allows the state to keep a militia. Guns kill people, guns kill children. Guns kill whatever the gun is shot at. So I don't know if I agree so much with the liberal one on this one. I don't really care about the Second Amendment or the Constitution. Conservative side, the Second Amendment gives the individual the right to keep and bear arms. Gun control laws do not thwart criminals. You have a right to defend yourself against criminals. More guns mean less crime. That's true. You can use a gun to defend yourself against a criminal. And you can use a gun to hurt a lot of people. Guns kill people and people kill people. I guess a gun has never really shot anybody. As a person shot somebody. But guns can be used. It can be a very easy tool to kill people. And that's really the problem. Now, I'll pause here and talk about this boss. So I was getting to learn the mechanics of the game. I think I was dashing a little bit too much here. And this reminds me of the first boss of Dark Souls 2, the big giant. And I really thought that dashing between his legs would, end up hurting me, but it did not. But as far as gun control goes, there's nothing wrong with controlling guns. Gun control does not mean getting rid of all guns. I think we need to talk about what kind of guns people need to have and the reasons they need to have these guns. Some of the guns that we have are really unnecessary and just there to make killing things easier, and unfortunately a lot of times those things are people. If we got rid of all guns in the world, nobody gets shot, but you know, we all know it's not that easy. And the other thing is that now that there are guns out there, if we get rid of all the good people that have guns and just have bad people have guns, are they going to be a bigger target? I don't have the answers to that. I don't think anybody has the answers to these things, but I do believe that the argument that we need guns to fight against the government is kind of silly, considering what type of weapons the government currently has, and we wouldn't stand a chance, honestly. We'll move on to healthcare. Liberals support universal. Okay, so I beat this guy before I get there. I beat this guy without getting hit. I was hoping that I get something special, but alas, I did not. So gun control, healthcare. Liberals support universal government to provide healthcare. There are millions of Americans who can't afford health insurance. They're being deprived of a basic right to healthcare. Conservatively, free healthcare provided by the government, socialized medicine, means that everyone will get the same poor quality healthcare. The rich will continue to pay for superior healthcare, while all others will receive poor quality free healthcare from the government. Healthcare should remain privatized. Support healthcare spending accounts. So, do not agree here with the conservative side. And I guess this goes back to what is the role of the government. What is the role of the government? Can we start there? Is it just to maintain, to help us maintain a lifestyle, or is it to help its people? Because we pour so much money to the government. We can't have healthcare so everybody can be healthy. Shouldn't that be something we strive for? A society where everyone is healthy? Or does universal healthcare really mean that people get poor healthcare? And why would it mean that? There are other countries that do have universal healthcare, and they do receive higher taxes, and maybe we could divert some of our money from military spending to healthcare. But some of those countries, they have really healthy people, and they don't have what I would consider poor healthcare. But I guess that really really depends on the person what you consider good healthcare. I don't a silly jump. I don't think the current system what we have here is gonna cut it, really. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I think when you privatize things, you really focus on the money. And so what I would ask is that in a system where it is privatized now, on the conservative question, how do the poor people get health care? Do they just not deserve health care because they were born poor, or they are poor? I don't know. Immigration. Liberals support legal immigration, increasing the number of legal immigrants permitted to enter the U.S. each year. Support blanket amnesty for current illegal immigrants. Believe that regardless of how they came to the U.S., illegal immigrants deserve U.S. government financial aid for college tuition. Visas for spouse to children who come to the U.S. family shouldn't be separated. Legal immigrants do the jobs that Americans do not want to do. Conservatives believe that they want to support illegal immigration at current numbers, but do not support illegal immigration. Government should enforce immigration laws. Oppose President Bush's amnesty plan for illegal immigrants. Those who break the law by entering the U.S. illegally should not have the same rights as those who obey the law by entering legally. They were a decrease in the illegal immigration labor. Employers would have to substitute higher-priced domestic employees, illegal immigrants, or perhaps increase mechanization. So, I don't care about the argument that on the liberal side, on the conservative side, that legal immigrants do jobs that Americans don't want to do. I don't think it should be about that and what jobs they do and what kind of worth they bring. I think that people are people, and people shouldn't be should a person be barred and mistreated because they weren't born at a certain place and they want to move to a place that may have something that they don't currently have. I mean, what rights do we have over the USA just because we were born here? We're all people. And I do understand the fact that there are a limited number of resources, and unfortunately not everybody can get a cut. And so if we were to dole out all those resources, and regardless of why they came here, give every person, free government aid and all that stuff. There's only so much we can give, and would it lower the amount people were able to receive, and would it make sure that everybody got poor services? I don't know, but I don't think I heard on NPR the other day this lady say, and she was in Britain, say that something happened in her country, and she felt so bad because they treated her like an alien, like an illegal, or like an immigrant. And I don't think we should be treating people badly just because they weren't born to a certain place. It doesn't make sense to me. I understand the need to, make sure that everybody has enough, but not through mistreating people and not through depriving people of resources. If you came here illegally, should you immediately get, I don't know, Medicaid and things? I want to say no, because you should have to wait a certain amount of time to become a legal citizen, but no, honestly, those programs are to help people, and if our goal is to help people, then how do we turn people away? Very, very complicated subject there. So religion, moving on to the next topic. No tangents. Liberals believe they support the separation of church and state, and religious expression has no place in government. They support the removal of all references to God in public and governmental spaces. I'm going to pause here, because I like this guy.
Keeper of secrets, I need your help.
I helped you once before, horseman. Look at me now. How I cursed that day. How I curse you.
Careful, Crowfather. I'm not here to put you out of your misery. Not yet.
I know why you've come.
Crowfather.
He's been imprisoned by the Charred Council and awaits their judgment for dooming the Earth, for mankind's extinction. Why should I care about your brother's fate?
Because you know the truth. Your secrets can save him.
The Council will condemn war, strip him of power, let him rot in oblivion, to hide the truth. My secrets cannot prove his innocence, horseman.
No, but they can help me to erase the crime.
Bring mankind back from extinction. Madness.
If it's madness, then who better to show me the way?
Should a way exist, you will find it here.
Then the Crowfather,
The Tree of Life.
the progenitor of madness.
Let me pass.
Not yet. That which you gave me, you will take it back.
In exchange for its secrets, you agreed to keep the amulet.
No. The voices, they curse and threaten without end. They cry to return. You must destroy it.
I cannot.
You annihilated their flesh. Why do you guard their souls?
Open the portal.
You will not pass while I live.
So be it.
I don't want to kill the Crowfather. I'm just going to be honest here.
Here your brethren are trapped in eternal
I love the
torment.
Crowfather.
Do you wish to join them? And what of war? Would you kill your brother to save your precious balance?
No, I don't,
He
Daddy.
is innocent.
Are you so certain?
The Crowfather turning into war here. Epic battle. Beautiful music. I really don't want to talk over this. Be quiet for a bit. I just want to say that in this battle I did not heal because my brother War did not heal. And I know I did a little bit too much dashing, but I was having a good time. I was enjoying myself. don't know why I was swinging so when I was so far away from them. So I just want to say this was really fun. There's no better way to start off a game than an epic battle. I mean, come on. Come on.
Open the portal.
I'm so sorry, Crowfather. I apologize.
Your secrets die with you. Old fool.
Only question is, I think his name is Death, but I don't think he controls Death. You know. But I did see some abilities that let you kind of be a necromancer, so maybe you do control Death to some extent. I was also really sad that this happened. I really don't like the green thing sticking out of him, but nah, it's whatever. So I'm gonna speak a little bit on the conservative side of religion. The phrase separation of church and state is not in the Constitution. The First Amendment to the Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This prevents the government from establishing a national church. However, it does not prevent God from being acknowledged in schools and government buildings. They oppose the removal of symbols of Christian heritage from public and governmental spaces.
From which they were formed. But others linger for eternity on the brink of annihilation, that creation might be balanced with destruction. And in the final moment of battle, death was banished to one such world in the autumn of its life, yet not far from the edge of darkness. Had death been sent to his doom, that answer would be found in the horseman's future and in his past.
Be still, horseman. You are wounded.
So I want to go ahead and state this, that I do not like religion. I think it serves a purpose, but I'll get to that purpose later, because I think a lot of people need something to base their beliefs off of, but I also hate that. I think that, because, you know, conservative side talks about the Constitution, I think our beliefs and our viewpoints and our laws should not always be based on some old book or something someone else said or something, you know. We need to base morals and beliefs off things that we believe in and that fit the times that are the current times and affect society, represent society. But so no, I do not want church in school. I do not want God in school. I don't want any of that. I don't want a government building God. I don't want a presidential prayer. No God, no church, none of that stuff. I was very upset like that. But I'm going to go off on a tangent on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Same-sex marriage. Liberals believe marriage should be legal for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender couples to ensure equal rights for all. All individuals, regardless of their sex, have the right to marry. Believe that prohibiting same-sex citizens from marrying denies them of their civil rights. Opinions differ on whether the issue is equal to civil rights for African Americans. Conservative side here is marriages between one man and one woman. Opinions differ on support for the creation of a constitutional amendment establishing marriage as a union of one man and one woman. Believe that requiring citizens to sanction same-sex relationships violates moral and religious beliefs of millions of Christians, Jews, Muslims, and others who have marriage. Believe marriage is the union of a man and a woman. So, on a government level, what does the government care about marriage for? They care about it for tax reasons, and I can't think of any other reason the government should care about marriage. And if it's not illegal, and it shouldn't be illegal for people to be, you know, together, why can't they get married? What's the purpose of marriage, honestly? I'm definitely liberal on this issue. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean somebody shouldn't have a right. When there's really no reason, there's no legitimate reason except maybe uncomfortable or you don't like it, that
You fight well.
that same-sex couples shouldn't be married. If you're basing your beliefs off the Bible and the Bible says that, or your Quran says that, or whatever you want to say, whatever book says that, the government should not be based off of those books that vary and on opinion and interpretation based on person to person. The government should be based on what the people say and what the people want. And if there are same-sex people that want to get married, then why shouldn't they get married? What's stopping them? What reason? But we have same-sex marriage now, so thank goodness. So this next one, I think I actually lean on the conservative side for this one, and this is taxes. For taxes, liberals support higher taxes and a larger government. High taxes allow the government to do good and create jobs. We need high taxes for social welfare programs to provide for the poor. We can't afford to cut taxes. Conservative side, support lower taxes and smaller government. Lower taxes create more incentive for people to work, save, invest, and engage in entrepreneurial endeavors. Money is the best spent by those who earn it. I'm on the conservative side because I hate the government, and I think that a lot of people in there are stupid. And how much of our taxes already go to things I don't like, such as, our high defense budget. I don't agree with that. How much of our taxes go to, presidential golf outings or this, and that? How many times do we get taxed? We get taxed when we make the money, then we get taxed when we spend the money, and then if you save it and put it in something, you get taxed again on your money. If you put it in a 401k, when you take it out, you get taxed. I think we have too many taxes on an individual level, and sometimes on a corporate level, depending on there. Like I said, some corporations do not pay enough taxes or do not pay taxes at all. So I definitely lean on the conservative side for this because I think that a lot of our taxes currently are being misallocated, and so I would just want lower taxes and let me spend the money how I want to spend the money and stay out of my pockets. Next topic here is welfare. Liberals say that they support welfare. We need welfare to provide for the poor. Conservatives oppose welfare because they are not compassionate towards the poor. We have welfare to bring fairness to American economic life. Without welfare, life below the poverty line would be intolerable. Conservatives oppose long-term welfare. We need to provide opportunities to make it possible for poor and low-income workers to become self-reliant. It is far more compassionate and effective to encourage a person to become self-reliant rather than keeping them dependent on the government for money. So I'm on the liberal side for this one, and I think there are people who don't need to be on welfare, and they do need to be checked. I think some people, that is a problem. That is a big problem. But there are a lot of people on the government payroll who are doing a lot of illicit legal things. And I mean, one misjustice does not justify another misjustice, so that's kind of a poor argument. But what do I want to say here? I think that there are people who my belief in regards to people is that some people are just going to be poor, and that I don't think that because you are rich and average, you live a great life, but because you're poor and average, you live a terrible life, or below average, or this sort of thing. I don't think your birth status should really affect your quality of life to such an extent that you can live horribly, because some people just don't have the mental faculties to take themselves out of this current situation, or they don't have the assets, or they weren't raised the right way, or their parents, or their school, or there's a lot of different issues that it can affect where a person ends up in life, and I don't think it's fair that, like I said before, if you're rich and below average, you live a happy life, but if you're born poor and below average, then you live terribly. Not everybody can pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and I think that welfare is fine. I don't think you should give somebody an extravagant life living on welfare, but you should have your basic human rights. You should have food. You should have a place to live, and that should be enough. And if you want other stuff, you do that on your own. But I don't think that's too much to ask for. If you work at McDonald's for years and years and years, there's no guarantee you're going to move up, and you're not going to have a good life. So the war on terrorism. Liberal side. 9/11 was caused by America's arrogant foreign policy. Americans have stopped angering other countries. The threat posed by terrorism has been exaggerated by our government for their own political advantage. Conservatives believe that the world toward which militant Islamists strive cannot peacefully coexist with the Western world, In the last decade, militant Islamists have repeatedly attacked Americans and American interests here and abroad. The terrorism must be stopped and destroyed. So I'm going to try my hardest to go off a tangent on this issue. But I completely agree with the liberal side on here because America needs to sit down somewhere and mind our business, honestly. We go around, and I'll bring up some facts and some sheets for when I cover this topic. We have gone in and we have taken out leaders in countries who were democratically elected. We have gone in and used our drones to kill civilians and other people. We've gone in and taken resources from other countries. We've bossed them around. We've tried to run their government, destroy their governments, put in our own puppet governments. We've done a lot of terrible, horrible things. So I can understand the anti-American sentiment and why some people want to fight back against us and why, these things are happening, considering as much meddling as we do. Think about if a foreign country said, Trump is kind of stupid and he's causing a lot of trouble, we might start a war. We're going to come in and take out Trump. We'd all be in uproar. We wouldn't take some other country's government or army coming in and taking out our government, but yet that's what we do to these other countries. And I really don't understand why. We are not kings of the world. We don't own the world. We are not put in place to keep control of the world. That's not us. And a lot of times it is for secret missions or things that we don't know. And a lot of times American soldiers do some nasty things like rape and hurt people, and we do support, I know recently found out, I don't know if it was Iraq or Iran or whatever, but currently we do have some of our allies who are pedophiles, and they come and take little boys, and there's a lot of things going on. And so I am totally against American meddling, and I think that the war on terrorism is just, I agree with the liberal side, we need to stop. Leave these people alone. That's the end of that. We're not going to go on a tangent. I'm going to pull up the other article here and see if there's anything we missed on liberals versus conservatives. This one is by Student News Daily, and the article is entitled Conservative versus Liberal Beliefs. Okay, we didn't talk about abortion. So, liberal view is a woman has the right to decide what happens with her body. A fetus is not a human life, so it does not have a separate individual rights. The government should provide taxpayer-funded abortions for women who cannot afford them. The decision to have an abortion is a personal choice of a woman regarding her own body, and the government must protect this right. Women have the right to affordable, safe, and legal abortions, including partial birth abortion. Conservatives believe human life begins at conception. Abortion is the murder of a human being. An unborn baby, as a living human being, has separate rights from those of the mother. Oppose taxpayer-funded abortion. Taxpayer dollars should not be used for the government to provide abortions. Support legislation to ban partial birth abortions, called the partial birth abortion ban. So, I definitely on the liberal side, I don't agree with everything they say, because it's kind of weird with the man. I guess you consider when does a baby when his life become a life, but if does the man have any rights before the abortion? Can he say he wants to keep the baby? And if so, why should the baby die? But it is the woman who is holding the baby and who does birth the baby, has control over other nutrients and whether the baby's going to come out right and she could drink. So, is it really her right? Should it be 3/4, 1/4 thing? I don't know. I do believe that on the conservative issue that if you believe that, then you got to think about social welfare for the kids, because they may not be brought into a loving home where they're wanted. They may not be brought into a home where they can be financially provided for. They may have a lot of different scenarios where just being born is not the best option, unfortunately. And is birth control stopping, is that a form of abortion? Is masturbating a form of abortion for men, where you're killing your sperm and not using the sperm? I don't know, but I'm on the liberal side here. I think that should be a personal choice what you do, and I don't think you should be persecuted for it or abused for it or talked down to for it.
We are the keepers of this forge.
I'm going to step affirmative action because I'm going to tangent there.
This is a maker's forge.
Oh, here's another one. Maybe it's the last one I'm going to talk about because we're running out of time here. Euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide. Liberal people think that euthanasia should be legalized. A person has a right to die with dignity by his own choice. A terminally ill person should have the right to choose to end pain and suffering. It is wrong for the government to take away the means for terminally ill people, or the person hastening his death. Conservatives, I'm skipping a little bit here. Conservatives neither euthanasia nor physician-assisted suicide should be legalized. It is immoral and unethical to deliberately end life of a terminally ill person, or enable another person in their own life. The goal should be compassionate care and easing the suffering of terminally ill people. I think you should be able to stop your own suffering. I think your life, your body lies with you and nobody else. What you choose to do with your own body and your own life should be your choice. Does that mean I think that... I do think you should be able to kill yourself. Yes, that should be alright. If animals do all the time when they don't want to eat. Some animals, when they get sick, they stop eating and they die. Sometimes the suffering is not worth the life that you get. If I spend 23 hours and 59 seconds of my 23 hours 59 minutes, of my day, screaming in agony and pain, and my whole body feels like it's on fire, literally. In that one last minute of the day, I'm kind of cool, I'm kind of regular. Is my life worth it? Should I be able to end my own life because I know I have X amount of years left of just this terrible, terrible existence? I think so. I think so. I think there's a point where you should be able to say, you know what, this life is, I'm done with this life, it's enough, I want to leave, I'm done. And I think people deserve that right. So I'm definitely in the liberal side of this. But we've talked about a lot of topics. We do have some more here, but I'm going to leave these for another time. I'm going to close out by just talking about why I kind of lean on the liberal side of things and not conservative. So I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, which is very conservative. And my dad was not. My mom was with my mom. And with my dad later on. And so it was a religious household most of my life until I was 14. I've read lots of the Bible. 90% of it, I can list you the chapters by name. I mean, the books by name, in order. But I lean liberal now, and I don't believe in the religion like that because it just makes sense. I don't like the limiting. A lot of the conservative issues are based on a moral grounds which is founded in the Bible and a limiting of other people's rights. It's kind of funny how in the beginning they said that if you looked on the government, conservative people believe that the government should be small and not really meddle with people's business. But when you look into what they believe in, it's constant meddling of you stop this. They talk about individual freedoms, but then they go on to stop individual freedoms through the government. So it's kind of, I don't really understand that disconnect there.
We've been awaiting your
but I think that on the liberal side, there's just a lot more openness, a lot more, you should be able to live life how you want to, as long as it's not, same-sex people getting married is not affecting you. A lot of these things are somebody getting an abortion is not affecting you. And it's not about living your own life and making a better quality life for everyone. Whereas conservative viewpoints are a lot more selfish and a little bit, I think, more hateful, if you want to put a term on there. And so that's kind of why, that is why I am a lot more on the liberal side of the issues. However, me being liberal does not mean that I'm not going to take a open stance at a topic, and I'm not going to reevaluate my values. I think you should always keep reevaluating yourself and your values, and understand your own bias, whether it's unconscious or conscious bias, and how that may, change the way you view things.
I will offer this to the fullest.
But
I will make use of it as best as I can.
The one thing I don't like is the denial of facts in an argument, and the use of one's beliefs, like liberal, like in a Bible or a book, to hurt other people or control other people.
Tell me,
I don't think they should do that.
what is corruption?
I only know what I fear it to be.
We will try to do that. I will try to bring up some facts next time so we can debate some of these topics and talk about them more. And I will try to bring more examples and such, and maybe I might put something on screen so you can follow along with what I'm reading or looking at. And that's about it. Please enjoy the brief rest of this gameplay from Darksiders 2. I had a great time. And thank you. Next time, let me put up what our next video is here. I'm going to tell you what that's going to be.
We are as the vines, coming to root, then to flower, and then to decay, dropping seeds upon the dust. A circle everlasting. I cannot stop it, nor can I stop you.
Tell me more about the Tree of Life.
So our
The
next
forest
topic is
around
going
the
to be
tree
something
has been
relevant.
corrupted.
That's something that I mean,
You
I'm not
cannot
going
reach
to go
the
off
tree,
super
not
much on this
with
topic,
redstone.
but our next topic is the gun debate
The
because
path
that's
of a
kind of
brother
new, and
troubles you.
there are
It
a
is
lot
your
of gun
past,
deaths,
but
either
also your
the ones
future.
that get a lot of credit and a lot of views with a lot of attention with the school shootings, and there's a lot of gun deaths in just the communities around the earth. And we're going to talk about that next. And thanks for watching, and tune in for the next video.
Stone, wood, iron, these are the gifts of the makers. Horseman, do you ever doubt your future?
No.
So one like yourself would set out to change a fate that displeases him. That is a long and dangerous path, even for Death himself.
How is that your concern, Shaman?
Only that I am skilled at crafting talismans. If you gather the proper materials and return them to me, I'll make a potent talisman to aid you on your journey.
What do you require?
Stalker's bone, mordant dew, and carven stone. It is not a simple charm.
Where can I find them?
Somewhere in the Forge Lands. I rarely leave Tristone, but that Pup Khan is always out exploring. He can tell you more, no doubt.
Come back later. We've got a forge to run.
The Reaper. It's about time you came. The Makers are dying, and our realm. We few are all that remain.
A warrior's life is never easy, old one.
Aye, not easy, but simple. I always saw my end with blade in hand, a field of enemy dead before me.
And what glorious end awaits you hiding behind these gates?
You cannot fight corruption, nor can you harm it. You can only kill those it has claimed. Every blow I strike against corruption is a blow against my own people. Muse on that, Ryder, before you mark me as a coward.
Do what you must for your kin, old one. For mine, I ride to the cauldron.
Horseman, you'll find not that way, but trouble. If you fancy your corruption waist deep, that's as good a place as any. You know, there's a reason this gate is here. And if you were a friend, I wouldn't let you pass. But then, who is friend to death?
Have you wisdom to share, or was it long since knocked loose in battle?
Wisdom ain't like teeth. I've plenty left. Enough to stay clear of the cauldron, The ancient, but one so clever as yourself will surely elude them.
The fire is more valuable than I, horseman. You should make haste to the temple.
Fire alone won't save your realm. You speak of the forge.
Aye. Without the fire and the tears of the mountain, without the forge itself, we have no means to clear the forest and reach the tree of life.
What then?
Our power is over creation, yours over death and despair. You are Nephilim, Lord of Destruction. Perhaps in that, there is hope.
Just how old is the forge?
It is as ancient as the realm itself, and perhaps even older. It is said the forge was the first thing we makers built, that in its depths we shaped entire worlds.